my mission to try and cut through that shaft there with this hacksaw blade. It's going to take a while. Welcome back to my efforts to make my winch raise and lower the keel in a controlled and safe manner. So that's running on 12 volts, and I just used a strobe app which you can download to your phone, and it's running at about 20 RPMs on 12 volts. At 48 volts it does about 84 RPMs using the strobe app that I had downloaded. So quarter of the voltage, quarter of the speed. This is my experiment today. I've put a block on this line that goes through the turning block and down to the winch, and that's in its close to maximum up position. Before it hits the floor it goes down to about here, but anyway, it can go forwards, and this block can go past that turning block, move back and forwards, and give you the purchase that way. It's a bit too fast, so that's why I tried the 12 volts. And what I might do there is get a buck converter from 48 volts maximum 30 amps and go to 12 amps maximum 60 amps. This is virtually half the load on the clutch and the winch. Hey, I'll show you now how it works. Way too fast still. But as you can see, it's an improvement already. Once again going down, I release the clutch. I can stop it by going over like that. It's kind of an override, but it's kind of not. One of my friends, Scott, suggested shorting out the terminals. Of course, I've disconnected the wires from the battery to the motor. I've closed the terminals, well, I've shorted out the terminals on the motor, and with some DC brushed motors apparently that can work as a brake, so we're about to find out. It works so well. Ha! It's just enough resistance. My DC-DC buck converter has arrived. It's 48 to 12 volts. It can handle 60 amps at 12 volts. Definitely, it's going to slow the winch down by, it's going to go a quarter of the RPMs that it went before. So let's get this little puppy hooked up and see what happens. And there we go, turning real slow. Looking good. It certainly slows down the winch. And the buck converter, very slightly warm. So what's your guess at 12 volts how many amps it's going to use? It's on its side, so it might be a little bit hard to read, but there it is. 12 amps, 13 amps. $15 amps. That's not too bad. But I'll look up my chart later on, but I have a feeling that's well within the capability of this capable cable. This capable cable. Hindsight is a beautiful thing, but I've decided what I'm going to give a go is, instead of this highly tensioned line going back to the clutch and the winch, I can reduce that load on it even further by doing this. It's 8mm line, and so I won't be able to go any bigger, but I'm thinking of putting two 8mm sheaves in here side by side. It's not quite the normal way to do it, and there might have to be a dividing plate in there, so the line doesn't hop over onto the other sheave, but it can't really because there's another line already existing there. Same thing on the bottom. I'm wondering why I didn't do this in the first place. It's pretty easy for me to machine up a couple of Delron sheaves, and then everything gets way less strained. I don't have to run blocks up and down the deck, lines rubbing on the deck, lines to trip over. It was starting to look really messy. So what do you reckon, guys? That's what I'm going to try. I'm running out of ideas. In order for me to make my new custom made sheaves, I have to finish machining my bow fitting, which is it makes me a little bit nervous to be have this flying around and just missing the saddle, and so I can only machine short bits at a time before moving to the tool to a new position. Caution is required. The final cuts. I could put another cut on this face, but sometimes it's best to know when to quit. This has gone well. I could have made so many mistakes and had this fly out of the chuck. But as you can see, I've got this bit of wood here, so I couldn't go too far with the saddle by mistake. When I'm ready to continue with this job, I'll just cut this bit off with the bandsaw. That was not supposed to happen. Lucky there's a bit of drill still poking out. You should be able to pull this tail stock back like that. For now, it looks like it's going to work. I can't use any bigger than 8mm line, of course, but it looks like the lines will slide past each other okay. Barely, but okay. So we'll be able to give this a trial if I can get the sheaves in the bottom part of this. This was the easy part. I've now got to get these two sheaves down in there. I set myself up here. I doubt whether I can get that bolt out without it hitting that keel bolt. I may have to take this plate out. I think I used a reasonable amount of sealant underneath it, so that's quite a large area of sealant sucking down on there. Goodness knows how this is gonna go. My mission: to try and cut through that shaft there with this hacksaw blade. It's gonna take a while. I worked in a yard once where with one arm I had to cut through a 2.5-inch stainless steel shaft underneath the cockpit of a yacht with a hacksaw blade. It took hours and hours and hours, but I got there. Halfway. And it's out. Woohoo! Now what? I don't know if I'll be able to get a long enough pin in through there. And if I get a pin through here, it may be just only long enough to go from the outside to the outside. Then I've got to find a way of locking it in there. It's not as ideal as a bolt in there. Okay, there it is, guys. For the short term it's set up. I'm not that proud of the work I had to do for the bottom pin going through the top of the keel plate there. It'll be reliable for a while, and then I'll have to dress it, and I may have to remake this top plate so I can put two proper sheaves in there. And I've drilled a hole in the top plate here and put a stopper knot here for the line because I didn't have enough clearance anymore doing it with a pin through that way underneath and tying that bow line that I tied there and those other knots I tried. So It's getting late. Let's try it. What I'm doing first is just lifting it up slightly so I can get rid of the blocks underneath the boat. Okay, I'm lowering it down now, and theoretically there should be much less load going down than before because I've got more purchases, so fingers crossed. Here we go. Oh, that's great so far. I can stop it easily. Okay, let's go up. Okay, let's see what amps it's drawing on the way up, because the motor does sound like it's struggling a bit. 13 amps. The winch is running so slow that it's only drawing 16 amps, but I'm starting to get the feeling that I should probably try the original 12 volt motor on it, because it may handle much better 12 volts than running a 48 volt motor on 12 volts. My mission today is to change that motor on the right, 48 volts, back to the original motor at 12 volts. It's interesting to see the comparison between the two motors. On the left is the 48 volt motor and on the right is the 12 volt motor. The 48 volt motor is rated at 800 watts and the 12 volt motor rated at 500 watts. So you can see that the 12 volt motor should be able to handle, well, will handle, is designed to handle higher amperage. So you can see there by the windings that it's quite a gauge or two up from the windings on this motor. The other difference is you can see there's 4 magnets there on the 48 volt motor, and there's just 2 magnets on the 12 volt motor. So there's the same amount of poles on the commutator. Is that the commutator? And so you can see that this motor will probably go twice as fast for the same voltage. It'll be a bit more powerful at 12 volts than this motor, one would imagine. Well, I've gone in a bit of a full circle really. I'm back to the 48 volt motor mounted underneath, because when I was running this motor on 12 volts off the buck converter, it was going so slow and lifting the keel, it was nearly running out of torque, and I was a bit concerned that the motor would overheat or the buck converter wouldn't handle the stress of that. So it was going up at a very nice slow speed, especially considering I put those extra purchases, which are working really well on the lifting of the keel there, the 2 extra sheaves. What else? I did try the 12 volt motor, the original motor, and it would not run well on the 48 to 12 volt buck converter. It really wouldn't, and it didn't have, it seemed, any torque. Apparently buck converters don't necessarily like that kind of initial high current startup, even though it's a fairly high capacity one. And to let it down, I just do an intentional overwind like that, which no doubt causes a bit of chafe on the line, but it works really well. And I can stop it anywhere. I was about to put the video out, and I was still researching things as to trying to find out what's the weaknesses of the system that I've set up. It occurred to me that one thing I hadn't done was measure the voltage drop to the winch when it's operating, and that's really critical. What I'm really curious to do is test it with the buck converter connected, so it's running on 12 volts. So the speed's great though. Anyway, let's give it a test. The buck converter is now connected. It's giving 12 volts from 48 volts. It can go up to 60 amps in the 12 volt mode. I suspect the voltage is going to drop quite a bit. So I'll just spin it up first so you can see that it's 12 volts. Yep, showing 12 volts. Interesting. It's only dropped to 11.7. That's actually not too bad. So you can see the amps down here. Okay, it showed what it showed before, about 14 amps. Well, I've gone more than a circle on this now. I've come back to the buck converter and I have more confidence in it, taking some more accurate readings like this and combining the voltage, 11 volts times 13, 14 amps. So we're only talking, say, 150 watts that this motor is drawing, pulling up the keel. Nothing is warming up. What I'm thinking is I'll put 10mm wire in there instead of 5mm, see what the difference is in the calculator. So that's what I'll do. I'll go and check that out. I've got some heavier 10mm wiring on now. There is a slight difference, of course. Now that I've put the 10mm wire in there, I'm a bit happier to leave that buck converter in and just monitor things, and pretty clearly this will get me going. Your ideas were really helpful in the last video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.